All right, I'm Leland Gilmore with Benchmark Vehicles. We're right here in our main facility in Southeast Portland, Central East Side. A little back history on the space. I've been in this space for 15 years, was a cabinet maker right at these same benches. Started in 2007, and now we've sort of developed into what we are today and build more cabinetry here than I've ever built in the past, doing full home custom cabinetry builds. So everything that we do for the vans is cut and designed and built right here in-house, from upper cabinetry to countertops to, we have a spray booth back here where we do all of our upholstery layup for our wall panels. Upholstery roll over on the side is fun. Allows us to roll out these large sections of fabric to wrap all of the interior wall paneling. McKenna is over here designing files for the CNC and working on cabinetry. And back in here, traditional woodworking tools. So table saw, it's a panel saw. Got that in Hood River from a gentleman that built windsurfing boards for the local community out there for like 20 years. Table saw over here is called a saw stop, and it's a safety saw. If you touch your finger on it, break and the blade drops, so you're not going to cut your finger off. Bandsaw, joiner, dust collection system. It's fairly clean in here, and it's not just because we sweep every day, we do, but the dust collection system really helps get rid of all of that, the fine particulates. To the right over here, we have a nice Laguna CNC, and we got this machine about 2 years ago. It's really helped improve our efficiencies and accuracy. The team that runs the CNC is super talented and have this thing very dialed in. It's got its own dedicated dust collection system as well as a vacuum table. So 2 big vacuum motors are above this room here. So it keeps the noise at a level that's manageable. So this is the van side of the main shop. And sort of a lot of the action happens over here. There's always 6 vans in production on this side, and we're doing everything from installing all the wall paneling to installing the cabinetry to building the systems and wiring up the battery boxes, and really, doing a lot of QC, initial QC before the vans go out the door for the road test quality control. Nick over here is working on a gear tray that goes in the back of the van. You can load your bikes on that, all your bins in the back of the rigs. Heating systems, a lot of plumbing going on in this one right now. Electrical system getting ready to begin. And we arrange the vans in a certain sequence. So depending on which van we call is in the hot seat would be the van that's going out the door next. So going to the customer next, so usually closer to the cabinet side of the main shop. And so as we rotate the vans through production, we're constantly moving them and moving their location. And sometimes I sneak that in on a Saturday and surprise the team Saturday morning with a whole new arrangement of the vans. So pretty cool setup over here. We're gonna go walk through the electrical kind of staging area. And this is our 100th van, and we're doing a lot of special work with this van this year. And it's got a lot of cool features that we'll get into the next video. But benchmark number 100, we had our badges redesigned for this van in particular. We've got a couple other cool features that will be included with this setup as well. So get ready to see this at a lot of trade shows in the coming year. All right, so we're in our nice little office here, and we moved into this space in about August of 2023. Really help open up and give that front end presentation when our clients come flying from a long trip, drive-in, whatever it is, to get their vans. They've got a nice comfortable landing pad here, a little chill zone. We've got product display. We've got different conference tables and desks and collection of my old race bikes, my dad's old race bikes from late 90s, late 80s. Pretty nice space, wide open, bright, and really comfortable to work out of. We are in our install center / semi showroom. This is a fun part of the shop, and we've got a new van that's getting ready to be delivered tomorrow. Customers are flying in from South Carolina to pick up. And over here we install roof racks, we install the suspension, wheels, tires, lighting, winches, sort of all the fancy exterior accessories. Let's go check out what we've got going on in here. So, new Sprinter here, all-wheel drive, 2024, stone gray, nice color. Lots going on in here. We're getting it all detailed, and power awning, side steps. Antonio's inside cleaning up for final handoff tomorrow, which will be great. Pretty fun interior on this one. Real dark, bold lower cabinets, amazing reflective lighting. So I'm pretty happy with it. You know, it was a little bit of a design challenge up front, but really came together quite well. Couple new products that we put on this van. The Alvan's Mini Monster Box, which is sweet. Really nice hardware, Southco hardware. And there's a little pull latch in here. Drops down, gives you a little bit more storage, leveling blocks, charge cords, dirty boots. So looking up in here, we're working with adding the auxiliary alternator, tensioner pulley, alternator here, wire harness. And what this does is allows the van's system to be charged with its own alternator. So we're not robbing power from the Sprinter van alternator itself. And next, this big 4-aught cable runs all the way to the back of the van, carry about 240, 250 amps of power to charge the house system. So you're charging while you're idling, you're charging while you're driving, in addition to the other methods of charge for our systems. Once we have the van up on our 2-post lift, it allows us to install our suspension system, and we're using a coilover over the Bilstein strut and an auxiliary Fox shock. We put on our wheels and tires over here. So this particular van is using a BF Goodrich 275 7017 all-terrain tire with the Alvan's Talon wheel, and we use the Apex rapid air down valves with all of the Alvan Talon wheels because these allow us to rapidly deflate the tires when you need ultimate traction in sand or mud, and we can really drop about 10 psi per second with these, so it happens really quick. All right, so we just finished up installing a 47-gallon S&B fuel tank. So it's an extended range tank, and these things are sweet because they'll allow almost double the range from the factory fuel tank. They bolt up in the same location as the factory tank, and they're just a little bit longer. So that added capacity will get you way further down the road and deeper off grid, not have to worry so much about your fuel levels, which relate to our heating systems. Since our heating systems are fed off the diesel tank, it's really nice to be able to have that extra bit of fuel, especially when you get out into the middle of nowhere and you need heat at night. Under the van, we work quite a bit with some of our systems installs. So our gray tanks, our freshwater tanks, routing of air compressor lines, alternator charge cables. We just completed an install on this van yesterday of a locking rear differential. So we use a kit from Agile Off-Road. Agile uses an ARB air locker in the rear differential, and what that does is applies equal, once the differential is locked, it applies equal torque and power output to the rear wheels. So you're not gonna have one wheel slipping and the other wheel trying to make up the difference. You can get yourself out of deep mud, sand, rocks, gravel, snow, just with that rear locker on. Since this is an all-wheel drive, it's gonna be a super capable van. You're still gonna have 50% power output to the front wheels, 50% to the rear wheels, but with that locking diff, it's just gonna make this thing unstoppable. We're inside this 170 Sprinter van, and you know what we're known for at Benchmark, a big part of what we're known for is our interiors and our finishes, our selection of finishes, our fit and finish, obviously, the floor plans, the way we tie everything together. So this van has got about as much as we can possibly put in it. It's not the most open van that we offer, but it does still allow for a really nice area to hang out in here and move around. You know, the seats swiveled, bench seat in behind the driver and passenger seat. You can all hang out, 4 people, have dinner, play cards. All of our cabinetry comes together really well. Everything is solidly latched when it closes. Nothing's gonna open when you're driving down the road, bouncing down a dirt highway. Overhead storage shelf, pretty standard in all of our builds, as well as our bug screens that we do. And there's actually a bug screen that zips into here, as well as a waterproof fabric that matches this fabric to keep out rain and snow. It's all on a magnetic pass-through, so super easy to use.
Hi guys, Dakota with Benchmark Vehicles. We're in another van in the main shop here today. Wanted to show you guys about the electrical systems case, kind of where it starts before we get to where it ends. The wires have all been run through the wall panels in the van and secured properly, and they end up here where they await the electrical systems guys to come in and do their handiwork. We'll show you that in the next van in a finished box, but as it is here, this is where it all begins. Yeah, so these are going to be things like our main ground for the van for all of our 12 volt and 110 power systems, our power inverter. And then we've got things here like our audio system and our alternator connection, which tells the alternator when to turn on and when to charge the batteries that'll eventually be sitting here in the case. This is the after product of what we showed you before in the other van. Brings everything together. We've got our Lithionics lithium-ion batteries in the back. There's 2 of those here. Those feed our power inverter and our 12 volt systems, which are controlled by a control panel or circuit board in the front half of the van. Going through, we've got our Starlink antennas here and routers. The FHP dish is located on top of the van, and that allows these guys to use Starlink in motion while they're driving down the freeway. It's pretty cool. We've got our audio system tied in back here as well. We have 2 separate amplifiers, one to power the speaker system and one to power the subwoofer. We've also got things like our battery management, our battery charge management. It's called a wake speed. That's just Velcro to the side of the battery, but it all fits in a tight little package. It's really amazing, the guys that do the work in here, how they fit everything together.